Hey, beautiful souls, welcome. Welcome back or welcome to The Hawk. And my name is Lana Zelinsky, and I work in the spirit dimensions. As always, in all my videos or on my live feeds, simply take what resonates, and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. How are we all doing this morning? Welcome. It is a cloudy, yet interesting morning. Some great chats with spirit this morning. It's been a very interesting couple days. I'm not quite sure how you guys are all feeling, but the energy has been what's the best way to put it? Unpredictable. We've made it through that lunar eclipse and that full moon energy. It's been a little bit restless. It's been a little bit interesting. Good morning. I see you all coming in exhausted, says Peyton. Yeah, sleep has been an issue for many people. Some restlessness. Good morning, Kyle. Good to see you guys all coming in. Hi there. Good morning. One thing that I just want to kind of chit chat a little bit about. Excuse me. And I'm going to take some questions this morning as well is this whole support yourself energy. I talked a bit about it on Monday, I believe. Barely slept yesterday. Yeah, there's been some interesting energy. Restlessness is kind of what a lot of people are saying, and it's kind of what I have felt. Yesterday I felt it quite loud, this whole restlessness going on. But the support yourself energy is still very much a strong vibe right now, with a lot of the emotional stuff that's still lingering. And I think that we're always kind of processing. Healing is a journey. And I really believe that we're always in that momentum. There's always something that we're working on. There's always something that we've been working, trying to move past or move through. And this whole support yourself energy is becoming quite loud from spirit. They're supporting us, being able to lean into that, being able to tap in to what we really need. And sometimes what we need is, when it can be hard to do this, but sometimes what we really need is to slow down. We need just a few extra moments. We need to regroup and collect ourselves. And many of us struggle with that. Many of us struggle with saying, okay, I'm just going to pause the world right now. I just need to pause it and just breathe. Now that pause, and I get it, scheduling is it can be quite chaotic, but what really, spirit kind of pushed on me is everybody's got a few minutes where they can just stop and breathe, where they can just kind of regroup, recollect, and give ourselves some support. Support is huge, and many of us are shy to ask for it. Many of us, look at that as perhaps some little bit of a weakness, or an embarrassment, or there's shame in needing support. And Spirit's been pushing that big time on me this week with support yourself. So if you need support, if you need to be able to chill out or take a few extra minutes, even if it means getting up 5 extra minutes earlier or shutting it all down 5 minutes earlier before bedtime to just say, I just need to breathe and connect to the spirit dimensions, or I just need to breathe and support myself, or maybe I need to lean in somewhere for some extra help. And I think that this whole asking piece, and I've sat with spirit quite a bit over the years with this whole asking piece as to how I can help people tap into more of that asking space. um it's extremely important to be able to feel as into why don't I want to ask for help? What is it that I'm holding in my vibration that prevents me from leaning in for support? And I think that when you ask yourself that, what do you come back with an as an answer? Where are you in that whole asking space? Is it because I don't want to bother anybody? Is it because I feel like I should be strong enough to figure all this out? What is it that you yourself struggle with asking? And if you're comfortable to share, go ahead and share. If you would rather not, that's okay too. But what is it with asking for help? Fran, asking for help is a sign of weakness. Okay, so that is probably a very common response for many people. Thank you, Fran, for posting that. So I want to tap into that, Fran, and not just for you, but for everybody here. Where is that coming from? Is that a story that you tell yourself? Is that a program that you've been given? Is that a label that's been kind of stuck to you? If you ask for help, that it's a sign of a weakness. Peyton, I ask for help. People will see my vulnerability. There's a big word. And Peyton, thank you very much for sharing that. Vulnerability is a big one, and I think we struggle with feeling that. And I really feel for many of us, perhaps not for all of us, but for many of us, that vulnerability piece is something that we've been not necessarily taught how to be. And I think for some of us, it also comes with, with experiences from showing our vulnerability, and it didn't go well with other people or in specific relationships. So one thing that Spirit is very very clear with me is there are safe spaces, and if physical world doesn't feel quite as safe for you, lean into the spirit dimensions, sit with your spirit guides, sit with that energy. And if you haven't, if you're new to spirit guides, or if you're not quite sure, all you simply have to do is ask, can you come and sit with me? I need to share something with you. Or sit with yourself. I often will sit, and I've talked about this a thousand times, the chair, you can see it in the camera this morning. I will sit myself down and I will allow myself that space to share. um and I think the other thing is being able to find safe communities to share in, being able to reach out in safe situations, with physical people where you feel that, the safe to be able to say, I really need a hand with that, or I really need some support right now. Or can you just simply hold the space? I just need you to sit quietly, while I talk this out to myself. And sometimes just being able to sit down and talk it out is all that people need. And when people come to me with, with their vulnerability, or their need, or their desire to talk, I just simply listen. I just simply open my ears and simply listen. Not everybody is even looking for advice, and that's one thing I think, that when people come to you, if sometimes they're not necessarily looking for advice or guidance, they're just looking for that ear, that support. We are, even though we may like our time alone, we are also, pulled and resonate with groups and communities and collective energy. So finding that space where you can tap in. I myself, and I think, sometimes people are just more, I'll use the word private. I myself, I'm very selective where I share my energy, but I do create safe spaces. I create safe spaces for myself, to be able to express that human side, that energy, that emotion, because carrying it or being afraid of weakness, there's learning in that too. And I don't ever want to miss my learning. I want to be able to learn how to open up and learn how, because carrying heavy energy does chip away at our spiritual well-being, as well as our physical well-being. And when you think about some of your aches and pains, or some of that, you may feel that you're holding on to something. Being able to release that, does have not just a spiritual well-being effect, but a physical well-being effect. Sometimes for me, my supportive space is in the forest. I will tell the trees everything. I am not shy around the trees. It is my I just feel so safe, so connected there. I feel so loved. I don't feel any judgment. I feel only growth in a forest. So for me, if I don't feel, ready, sometimes it's a readiness. Maybe we're just not ready to share it with people yet. I hit the forest and I just simply let it. I just talk it out. I talk it out with the trees, and I feel back into the energy that's given to me in return. I feel back into that love, into that holding space, into that non-judgment, into that grounding. I feel back into it. So whatever you're navigating through, whether it be vulnerability, or if you're holding back and need support, find your space, find your space, to share. Find the people, that you feel safe with sharing. Another, amazing space to share in is with animals. If you have a pet, being able to sit down and just simply, share with them how you're feeling. They have an incredible empathic, vibration. Animals have a very empathic vibration. Those of you who have pets, how often has the dog come up to you, or the cat come up to you when you're feeling sad, or when you're just feeling down, or if you're just feeling tired, and they just seem to have that knowing, right? They just know that you need that cuddle. Being able to tap into that is, is a space that you can always go to as well. If you don't have a pet, you can again sit outside and talk to. I know it's going to sound funny, and it might feel funny in the beginning, but talking to to a squirrel or a bird, right? Just being able to say, "This is how I'm feeling. Can you have a listen?" I've done that myself too, where I've just, I've seen a little bird and I've just shared how I'm feeling, and it's like, okay, I felt better. I told that to someone. Sometimes it feels, and here's again with a little bit of the programming, or unraveling what old thought patterns. It's gonna feel weird. Here I am outside, and I've had students say that to me. I've taken them outside of the forest, and I've said to them, "You have a seat right here on this log, and I want you to share with the forest. I'm gonna go over here, so I can't hear you, and I want you to sit with the forest, and I want you to share what you're feeling." And the awkwardness from some of my students, it's like it's very awkward to do that. And I'll ask them, why is that awkward? And then for the most part, the response is, well, I've never done this before, and it feels very weird. But once they've given it a go, once they just put that out there, you can see their energy, even just in their posture, shift a little bit with that letting go and with that being able to ask for assistance or guidance. And I think for the most part, when we're going through our stuff, it's just the support and the energy that we need. We often don't need anybody to fix it for us. We just need to feel supported while we're doing our own fixing. And we are always doing our own fixing. Like we're always kind of navigating through that. I hope that that little message from Spirit about putting in the support systems, whether it be energetically, or with people, or finding that spot to be able to to speak out loud how you're feeling. Our physical body responds to that release, that lighter energy, that ability to be able to speak how we're feeling, and calling in for support. And I've said this before on the channel, Spirit is always just simply saying, ask, just ask. And whatever form of asking works for you, do that. If it's a form of prayer, if it's just speaking up and looking, if it's come sit with me, spirit guides, I know, or just simply asking for some help and support and guidance. And I always say, I always add, be open to receive that. I'm open to receive that. And I'll speak those words too. I'm really open to receive the guidance that I'm looking for. I'm open to receive it. Um, yeah. So that's the big message for today. It's supportive energy, and it's huge. It's huge right now. And I think sometimes too, I'm also open. I keep that space for people, and I'm sure most of you do too. Is you hold that space for people to come to you, and that not non-judgmental vibration of you're welcome to sit with me, right? Being able to hold space. And remember, you don't always have to say anything. And there have been times where I've said to people, you know uh, Spirit supports you and I support you, but while you go through this learning, sometimes we're going through the learning, right? And being gentle as we move through that. It's been an interesting, I think it's been about 2 weeks with this whole gentle on ourself energy. We're in that space of learning how to love ourselves and love each other from a different space, sometimes different from what our experience has been, or what we've learned, or what we've been taught. But it's a whole new vibe for many people, and coming at that from an understanding too is quite big. I can easily hold space for people, but hard for yourself. Ooh, friend, that is a good one. And I've often said that in the past, is quite often we treat other people better than we treat ourselves. So when you're talking to yourself, kind of bring that into your awareness. What would I say? What would I say to my best friend? And what would I say to one of my kids? Or what would I say? How would I handle that? Right? Or how would I talk to that version of myself if it's something that's happened and that you're trying to work through, that is in behind you in the past versions of yourself? And how would you talk to a younger person, a youth, right? How we got to be able to love ourselves from that perspective as well, because I truly do believe for most people we're doing the best that we can from where we're standing. I say that all the time. I'm learning the best that I know how to. It doesn't always go great, but man, I'm showing up and I'm trying. And it's such a gentle energy and a gentle perspective, right? And it just takes away that abrasiveness. And every now and again, Spirit will show me, like an SOS pad, like those scouring pads. Every now and again, Spirit will show that and will rub it on me, as you're being a little bit hard on yourself here. Why are you scrubbing so hard on yourself for? And I literally kind of have to say, yeah, like I am I am being a little bit, I need to soften how I'm looking at my learning. I need to put in, whether that be the support, or I need to take some time, or I need to slow it down. Being able to process that. Okay, I'm going to scroll up. I'm glad that this is resonating with so many of you. It's coming up for a big reason. And when I was meditating, I was like, "Oh, we're back to this. We're back to this." And spirit's like, "Yeah, we still have some more work to do. We still want to talk about it. We still want people to kind of lean into that supportive energy." So there's I always trust it. I always trust what I get. I always, I never say to spirit, "Oh, well, we just talked about that last week." If that's where we need to stay and to work on, if that's the work that we need to help each other with, it is what it is, right? It's supportive energy. Let's go up here and see. Oh, there's lots of chit chat going on. I tried this morning to catch it as I was chit chatting, but I only caught a few. Sleep has been strange. A lot of people are talking about this whole sleep, barely sleeping energy. And I'm just curious if a few of you, who are struggling with sleep, have you had this experience where the day's going really well, really well? I've done my spiritual practices. I've had a pretty good day. And the second your head hits the pillow this week, it's like all this stuff comes flooding in. And it's something that doesn't usually happen to you. It's more of like all of a sudden I'm thinking about the box of cereal in the closet, in the cupboard. And has there been some weird stuff like that? I truly am curious, because a lot of people have been reporting that to me, that they're feeling great, and then as soon as their head hits the pillow, it's like the silliest of silly is coming through their headspace. And I think with that eclipse, I think that energy, and with that, and within that full moon, there's a lot of different parts of us that are becoming more and more aware. And sometimes when we hit the pillow at night, that awareness kicks in. It's almost like, oh, there's first gear, because the brain's suddenly quiet. So a bunch of stuff just kind of fills up and flows out. I'm just curious. I'll scroll down and look for that answer in a little bit. Kayla, my dreams have been horrible. I'm emotional and restless. There you go. Kayla, I think what will help you is just turn up the volume a little bit. Spirit's buzzing in my ear. I'm probably gonna have to switch dimensions soon. I think what's kind of going on there is allowing that release. So I think I've got to turn up that volume a little bit of supporting yourself through releasing, supporting yourself through new spiritual journeys and adventures. So putting in a little bit more support for yourself. Our dreams sometimes are dreams. There are sometimes it's just a dream, right? And sometimes there's a deeper meaning into that dream. So when you kind of look at the theme of a dream, is there a fear? Is there a release? Is there an emotion? You don't necessarily have to be able to break it down into a dream interpretation, but sometimes if there's a repeat theme with dreams, is there a fear that you're holding on to, that you can kind of talk to that fear during your waking time before you go to sleep? All right. That's what she said. Today's my 52nd birthday. Happy birthday to you. 52 is a great number. We're celebrating you today, and wishing you a restful day. Hopefully, you're able to get some rest. And chaotic at my house, says Aaron. So with a lot of chaotic energy, Aaron, one thing that will help is sometimes, and I say this all the time, sometimes life is chaotic, and sometimes there's things going on that we kind of have to navigate through. When there's a lot of that energy floating around in my world, and it does happen, I like to do an energy cleanse. You can open a window, you can drum, if you like to burn, if you want to burn some Palo Santo, or some incense, or whatever it is that you want to burn. My singing bowl, I'll use my singing bowl, or just simply opening the windows and saying, I'm letting all this chaotic energy out. Yeah, out you go. It's funny because it's funny that we're talking about this. I did a house smudging yesterday, and there, the people that were living there were quite upset with some of the feelings that they were feeling in their home. And the moment that I did the energy cleanse, it was literally like this huge shift. It was like, it almost feels like we painted in here. But it was a winter and of emotion. They had been through a lot. It had been a difficult time. They had, it had all that energy was kind of just floating around there. And as soon as I moved it, they were surprised, and it was their first experience having a house cleansing. But so you can do it yourself very, very easily. With moving some of that chaotic energy out, it just kind of keeps things flowing. If that resonates there with you. Um, Bubbles are shy. Literally did that yesterday. I supported myself and helped myself after having some worries about stuff. Well done. A few nights in my past few nights in my first decent sleep after being sick. Hope you're feeling better there, Erin. Um, Horizon Phoenix. My son was wondering if any of the pieces we got at the furniture bank have any energy attached. Um, Okay, so energy attachment, yes. Entities or spirit, no. What you can do, and this is a really good question, Horizon Phoenix, because there is a big difference. So I want to thank you for asking that. Everything holds energy, right? So and I'm sure you've all had moments where you've experienced that, where you walk into some place and it's like, I don't feel very good here, something's up. Or you walk into some place and it's like, wow, feels like magical, even though it's a simple space. I always, even if it's a new item, when it comes to bigger items, I will do an energy cleanse, and I just very simply I ask all energy that's hanging out here to please leave. It can be that simple. We do leave vibrational and energetic imprints. It's like if you walk into a place, you can feel. If you ever okay, here's how I want you to look at it. Have you ever walked into like a big church with an old building, and it just has that feeling? Have you ever walked into somewhere and you just feel like, oh, it's really heavy here, or it's really fun here? It has a feeling, and it does stay. So I don't feel anything Horizon Phoenix as far as an attachment with spirit that way. I just feel like with everything, especially used items, it has a feeling to it. Have you? And I'll put it to you this way: have you ever borrowed someone's jacket, or have you ever had a smell that reminded you of someone? It's the energy behind it, right? We can feel energy in things that belong to other people. We truly can. And for some of us, it doesn't necessarily even bother people, right? For some people, they just don't feel it, or they're not aware of it, and that's okay. Right, it's 100% okay. And for some of us, there's a heightened awareness. I mean, I can pick something up and literally read the energy in it. I can say, "Oh yeah, this is what I'm feeling, and this is it may not be a spirit, but I can feel the energy. This was in a sad home. This was in a happy home. This was I can feel the energy in it. So it doesn't. And I'll say it again because I want to be very clear. It doesn't always connect to an attachment with a spirit. Very, 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 very rare. It's very rare. With my experience, anyway, I'll add that. I'll add that to that. It's very, very rare that spirit would attach to a physical item to begin with. Extremely rare. And the reason for that is they're non-physical. They don't attach to physical things. And for the past, oh my gosh, 25 plus years that I've been working in this area, at different levels, I've had very few experiences where a spirit or an entity attached itself to a physical item. It's very, very rare. So, and I've worked with very old pieces, and you can feel the energy. Now, I will add to that, um, can an item be used to channel someone? Yes, and the reason for that is is the item is used more of a vehicle for the channeler. So, I'll use my coffee cup as an example. Okay, so let's say I pass, let's say, Horizon Phoenix, somebody comes to you for a reading and they say, this is Lana's favorite cup. You may be able to hold it as a vehicle, very similar to tarot, very similar to a crystal, and connect to me through it. But that does not mean that I am in the cup or that I've taken over the energy of the cup. So quite often items, it's the same thing with pictures. So when I'm working on a missing person or a missing animal case, I may look at a picture or I may hold an item and it may help it just helps me to connect to what's happened. Right, it's a vehicle to help with the connection. I kind of look at it like a focus. So when I teach my introduction, so I have a couple students on here. Um, when I teach my level 1 and my level 2, and we use pictures or we use items when we work with cytometry, and we do it online. They don't even have to physically hold the item. They look at the item and they're focusing on it and they're connecting to the person through the item. It's a vehicle. So and I think that's where a lot of confusion can come in, where if someone channels with an item, people may think they're in the item. Absolutely 100% not. I don't need an item when I channel from the spirit dimensions anymore. The only time I may use something is if I'm working on a missing person. It does help me connect with remote viewing for whatever reason. It's the same thing with a map. If they were last seen here, I'm able to look at the map and tap into their energy to be able to pick up what direction they went from there. And I still work that way. When I'm doing and even with missing items, I don't do many missing items anymore just because of the time, with my schedule. But when I was doing a lot of missing items, I would look at a picture of an item to help navigate myself through the energy. I hope that makes sense. Arise in Phoenix, I would just simply set an intention. If there's any energy here that's not ours, please, please, please remove yourself. It's that simple. And again, some people are not even sensitive, and that's okay. I mean, it's okay to not be sensitive to picking up on different energies. Uh, let's see where we go in there. Wesley, any tech issues this morning? So, and on Monday, if you were here on Monday, I had no camera. You could see me, but I couldn't see you. I went live anyway. At first, I thought there was something wrong with my fairly new laptop. It's less than a year old, or just close to a year old, maybe. And so I just trusted it. Then I went to work. The camera worked on Zoom, but it wouldn't. And I tried a couple other times. It would not work on YouTube. Yesterday, I was so busy, I didn't have a chance to try it. This morning, I came down and I just said, "This is Spirit. I would really appreciate it if my camera worked today." And I just logged on and it was working. I did nothing. Nobody looked at it. I didn't play with any settings, and so lo and behold, here I am. And when I sit in that, I really feel this. I really feel I needed to trust. There was something on Monday that I just needed to show up and trust anyway, with or without a camera, which is very interesting, to me, because my trust level is huge. But when spirit does challenge my trust, it's usually because there's something coming for me that I'm going to have to really lean into that, with trusting. So I don't know what it is yet, but I'll let you know when I figure it out. But yeah, all of a sudden the camera was working this morning. I have no clue. I have no clue. Okay, where are we here? Right. Jules, can you tell me a little about my spirit team, and do they have any messages for me? So on your spirit council, Jules, and I feel a lot of movement with your spirit council. Some of us have a lot of staff changes where spirit guides come and go. And some of us may have a guide or two that are with us for the majority of our life, and only a few will come and go. I feel a lot of staff changes there with you, and I feel it in a good reason. Like I just feel like, when you're going through different things, and when you need different guidance, I feel like there's like a change up quite often. But I also feel, and when I ask them, when I asked them the reason, I don't really get one, other than the fact that there's a lot of support for different things. And I'm curious, Jules, if you've recently had a lot going on, like one thing after the other, because I feel a lot of up and down with them. Okay, we're gonna come and help with this. We're gonna come and help with that. I also feel, Jules, that you have a lot of spirit animals on your spirit council, and I feel like with that energy that you're able to tap in a little bit better when it comes to a spirit animal guiding you. Yeah, I also feel a lot of playful energy on your spirit council. A lot of I'll use the word like younger energy. I just feel a lot of I'm trying to describe the feeling of it. I feel a lot of humor. I feel a lot of lightness. Some spirit guides feel very, very serious to me. It's, I, even when I channel them, I'll be like, oh, I gotta sit up straight. And I feel more of a playful. I feel more of, and I feel like this lifetime for you. Oh, here it is. I feel like this lifetime for you has been a lot of sudden shifts or changes, and they may not be big things, but it's a playful energy. It's a playfulness, and I feel like right now they're bringing that in quite loud. With even when things are kind of like bumpy, tap into the playfulness energy to help yourself get through that. Because your spirit guides for me are very playful, and I don't know if you have a lot I don't. I'll use the word magic, or a little bit of spirit activity where like synchronicities just kind of like happen, and it's like I can't even process that. It's so magical or so unique. I hope I was able to express that to you well enough there, Jules. Okay. Kayla, I assume I'm strong enough to figure it out because I've never asked in the beginning. Don't want to ask now after all these years. And that's okay, Kayla. Sometimes we truly feel like we don't need to. And that's perfectly okay. And Kayla, I'm happy that you worded that way. Sometimes we feel like we're strong enough. Um, but also sometimes, let me ask you this, Kayla. Do you ever feel tired of being strong? Do you ever feel tired of being strong all the time? Sometimes we do need to say, I just need a moment to just kind of feel a little bit differently, because sometimes being strong, and if it's not for you, Kayla, that's perfectly okay as well. But for many of us, and I've been there myself, because I have great strength. I'm a lot like you, Kayla. I don't lean into human people very often. I go more to the spirit guides or to my forest, for my vulnerability. But sometimes, I take that big breath in and I think, you know what? I'm tired of being strong all the time, right? You know that feeling? That's when you kind of have to lean in and say, you know what? I'm just gonna go lay in the forest, or I'm just gonna count the stars, or I'm just gonna breathe. Um, Aaron, I'm decent at asking, but sometimes I feel like I'm bothering people too much because of growing up with ADHD undiagnosed. That's a big one, and I think sometimes we do feel like we're bothering, but I think for the people that love us the most, I don't, and I truly feel this, or the people that support us, I don't think that we can ever bother them too much. I know I feel like that. People say, Lan, I didn't want to bother you, and I say, you know what? There's always a moment that I can hold space for you, even if I can't, or don't have an answer, even if I can't fix it. I'm always here to listen. Um, See where we need to go here. I'm just kind of scrolling through. For me, sometimes I just don't know how to ask for help. And I think that's a big one. Um, and I always say, start with your spirit guides. I connect with them every day. Help me out today. Come with me today. Learning to ask can be a big one too. And I think, though, too, when you think about it, how many times do we say to people, younger people or kids, or even to adults, you'll figure it out, figure it out, figure it out, right? Think about it, figure it out. And sometimes we just need that space to have someone hold it, to say, you know what, I'll just sit with you while you figure it out, right? Because sometimes it is the learning too. And I get that. But I think sometimes that programming can go a little bit further the other way, where we teach people that they need to do it all on their own. And I'm very much for collective with helping people, even if it's just walking beside you, or just walking beside you can be, and sometimes that's all people need too. And I think that's a big one. Is we just need to know that we can lean, right? We just need to know that. And when you think about it, how many of you here, you can just, nod, you don't have to comment if you don't want to, but how many of you here look forward to the lives just to feel supported to start your week? It can be that simple, right? It doesn't have to be the great big things all the time. It can just simply be, yay, I get to hang out in the community for an hour or so a week and just feel that support. I just feel like there's other people around that kind of get it, or that, or that feel the same, or that can hold the space and say, you know what, we're cheering for you. It can be that simple. It can be that simple. It doesn't have to be that, big or lots of time, or always kind of like feeling like we're bothering people. It can just be, I just need to know that if I ever need to, I can lean in. All right, Andrea, I've always handled things on my own from a very young age and find it very difficult to ask for help. And I think, Andrea, I've watched you grow through your spiritual growth, for the last few years, and I you probably feel a lot easier asking spirit for help, right? Sometimes we do feel that's a better space or an easier space to start with. But Shulana, we have to express our human side. Sometimes I forget I'm human and I have to connect with the other humans. Kayla, I do too. I do too. And I've talked about this before. I'm very honest with it. I prefer the spirit dimensions to the physical world. So sometimes I need to be like, wait, and spirit will send me here, for several days, without necessarily always leaning into there. We do need to be human and have our human side. And we're all here learning and growing, and that's something that I remind myself of every single day, sometimes 10 times a day. You're here learning, you're here growing, you're here learning, right? It's so true. My safe space is my spirit guide. I just lost my space. I have an affinity for trees. Oh, Jules, I do too. There's just something magic with those trees. Shaz, I feel very spiritual this past week. Does spirit have any messages for me? Thank you. Shaz, I really feel that I need to remind you that you're wrapped in love and healing. I really feel like I've got to give you that safety blanket. I feel like I've just got to say you're so safe. You're so loved. I feel like I really need to wrap, and I feel like I need to wrap you. I don't know. I just feel like I need to wrap. So Shaz, take a moment if you can at some point today and just grab like a blanket or a shawl and just kind of like wrap yourself up and just feel into that energy that you are held and that you are loved. I just really feel like I need to give that to you to try. I have to watch the time though, you guys. I have to work today. Um, Fun fact, all of us animals are born with certain instincts. The first thing a newborn baby does is cry. I love those words, shy. It wants, needs help. The literal first thing we instinctively do is ask for help. That's beautiful, Cheyenne. That's beautiful. I envision an open meadow where I can either run or ride a horse bareback. I love that spring. Kayla, I was babysitting my friend's dog during the weekend. Her name is Rosie. Oh, Rosie feels very, very fun. The same name as my spirit guide. Oh, I love that. I talked to her and expressed myself. I also asked how she was feeling. Oh, I love that so much. Asking for help is a sign of bravery. I feel the same thing. I feel the same thing. Do you need to talk? Do you need to speak out loud to the trees, or can you think about it? Jules, great question. You can think about it. You don't have to speak out loud. Our thoughts are heard. Our thoughts have intentions. I do a lot of chatter to spirit without moving my lips. Very much so this way. Very much in my. You absolutely, you don't have to speak it out loud. Even with that self talk to yourself, if you feel better with just the thoughts, you're okay today, you're doing the best that you can, you don't have to speak it. So that that's absolutely. um when you think about it, Jules, I'm not quite done there, Jules. That's a great question. When you think about that heart space energy, when you think about what you're sharing in that heart space energy, it is such a beautiful vibration, right? And when you think, it's just such a glorious space to be able to communicate from, and it truly doesn't matter whether it's spoken out loud or in your mind. Um, Saying them out loud can make them more real when you're keeping them in. It depends on how you work. So for some of us, speaking in our mind can be more powerful than speaking verbally. And I think it's whatever works for you. And I think it depends. I mean, I kind of go both ways quite often. When I feel like I need to speak something or be heard, so then I will speak it. But for some people, they work really well with saying it in their mind or telepathically. It's a form of communication. So I feel whatever works better for you, however you feel heard, or whatever works, whatever feels good. I feel it's a very personal thing, on how to connect. And sometimes when you think about it this way, for most people, when we're getting a message back, we get it as a knowing, or that feeling, or that an inner voice. We don't always hear it back verbally. And it's the same thing with the trees. I won't hear a word come back to me, but I'll feel a vibration or hear it. So I think whatever works for you is, where I need to encourage you to try from. Okay, I need to keep an eye on the time, you guys. I get tired of being strong too. Absolutely. We do. We do get tired of being strong. And it's okay. Right. And I think that's the whole message there, Aaron, is support yourself. Support yourself when you're tired of feeling strong. Right. Um, I love to lay on the ground. I love to lay on the ground. Actually, for me, the ground is solid and it's supportive. So I love to just lay there. I'll just kind of flop. I just kind of flop them, even in my backyard. I'll just kind of flop down, or out in the forest. I like to flop down and feel the support of the universe. That's kind of how, when I need to feel that strong support, I'll just lie down and remind myself, or stomp my feet. I've talked about that with you guys too. Or in my meditations, I often do that. Stomp your feet and feel the ground. Feel how supported you are. All right, you guys, a few more here. Um, yeah, remote viewing, on my computer. Haha, shy. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. Now that I'm not listening to my dad's issue, I can respond. Enjoy yourself today. Make sure you celebrate yourself. Hey Lana, I just jumped on, so I missed the topic of the video. If you have a moment, my grand passed 2 years ago, and I've had one dream about her, but there were no words. Did she have any message? So thank you very much for posting that question. Sometimes we don't hear spirit when they communicate with us in dreams. I feel that she came to you to let you know that she was okay. I feel it was you that you needed to just have feel that energy. They often don't speak when they come, and sometimes people can find that upsetting. The reason is, and it's not that they don't have anything to say, the reason is it takes a lot of energy for them to be able to do that, to come to you and to hold that energy so that that they can connect with you. So sometimes they don't speak, and sometimes we don't hear them because we are in a dream state as well. I need to say to you that she's extremely proud. There's been some forward momentum. There's been a lot of proud moments since she's passed that you've been navigating through, and she's very, very proud. She has a very gentle, soft energy, and she's trying to give that to you. She's trying to literally hand over that soft, gentle, that space. She's showing me a lot of butterflies of brilliant different colors. So there's going to be a butterfly reference. If you're not already seeing them, or if you don't know what it is yet, just be mindful over the spring and summer. There's butterflies everywhere. And there's also a light purple color that she's kind of surrounding you in. Just this light, what do you call that? Um, Sort of lilac, like that soft purple. That's the color. It might not be the flower. It's that soft color that she's surrounding you with. Um, there's just such this gentle energy she's trying to give you. Just such gentleness, like it's just like a little hummingbird energy. That gentle. Just keep an eye, or remind, or an awareness, to bring in that gentle energy to you. Okay, there's got to be a reason there for that. All right, where are we here? I like to sit and listen to sit. I like to sit in trees. Their roots help me feel connected to the earth, and their branches help me connect the spirit. Absolutely. I think too with trees is with their roots that go down. There's a big reference there too. We tend to only go up, and we need to also go down, right? We need to go down to down to grounding, down to be rooted, down to connect. Because sometimes we can be too up, right? That spirit has done that with me probably about 10 years ago. It was like you're going up. Try going down as well. Try that grounded. There's a lot of powerful energy in there. My inner voice also changes language because I'm bilingual. Oh, I love that. Um, my brother and I have been hugging trees in the past. I bet people that aren't aware think we're nuts. Probably. Most I know that people in my neighborhood think, and some of them think I'm quite nuts, just because of the rituals that they witness and the things that I do. I literally stop if I'm walking on a sidewalk and I see a little squirrel. I literally stop and I'm like, "Oh, what's your name?" Right? It's so funny. Anyway, you guys, we are sitting at about it's 9:18 here, 44 minutes. It's been a lovely chat. Let's do some angel numbers and spirit animal. Let us go here. Aaron, I hug the ants too. I love that. I love that. Be wow, Lana, butterflies and hummingbirds and purple are all things heavily related to her. She was the most gentle and patient person I knew, and I have been trying hard to channel that from her. Thank you. You are very welcome. And B, thank you very much for the validation there. I appreciate that. What was interesting was a little bit ago, I really felt I could hear my ear ringing, and that's usually spirit that's trying to connect there. I really feel that that she was trying even earlier to get me to pull over there into that dimension. I love that so much. Spirit is so profound, and how they work, right? How they work is so profound, and I think that's one thing. I just want to talk a little bit more here before I let you all go. I think that's one thing that's most misunderstood with spirit is how they communicate. It's very different than how we sit across from each other and communicate this way. It's a very different channel. But it should always be though very validating. It should always make sense. Like B said, everything that I mentioned was heavily related to her. That's how spirit communicates. It's very different. It's a different dimension. I've got to be able to disconnect, or we have to be able to disconnect from the physical world and tap into them. So when it comes to spirit communication and channeling, I just want to give this to you, B, and to anybody else who's interested in channeling. Remember, you're changing stations, right? It's going to be different. Go with the feeling, go with what's coming into your awareness. The communication is not the same as we do it here, and that's the biggest thing with people who don't understand channeling or mediumship. They have a notion that it should be the same way we communicate here. I mean, I would say a lot of the time I get names or very, very close to what their name was, but not always. I don't always hear it. And I just allow how we're working to how it to be, whatever dial I'm tuned into. I just allow that. I don't get too focused on, oh, I'm not hearing a name. I'm not hearing a name. I didn't hear B's grandmother's name. I also didn't ask, but I was able to pick up with what she was showing me. I just asked her to connect with me, and that's what she gave me. And the validation for her for B was very, very significant. So when you're channeling, try to just allow how whatever needs to come in whatever way to come to you. Right? Just allow it to come in. And I think that's the biggest thing, if for us humans is to get our head wrapped around that the communication's very different. It can be a feeling, right? It can be a song. It can be however they're working, however they're trying to connect, right? All right. Okay, where are we here? I thought I seen somebody wanted me bubbles. I swear to God, if you pull 1414, I'm gonna pull out my hair. Well, I'm just going to allow the book to be wherever it needs to be. So let's just set an intention of where we need to go with the numbers. You're in luck at 789. Continue moving in the direction you're going with respect to your career, spiritual path, and divine mission. You will be fully supported all along the way. I just got goosebumps. I just got goosebumps. The whole support yourself, the whole theme today, the whole support others. You're supported from spirit. I'm gonna read it again because I just need to. Continue moving in the direction you're going with respect to your career, spiritual path, and divine mission. You will be fully supported along the way. I love that so much. I love that so much. The theme that they gave me this morning when I was channeling and a couple days ago was this whole supportive energy to support yourself. I love that. Wow. That is so awesome. All right. So what do we need to hear? Let's just all set our intentions. Blackbird. And I kid you not, that before I came down here today, that song Blackbird singing in the middle of the night was playing. I kid you not. Okay. Um it's going to be an interesting day with them today. Wow. Let go of all your inhibitions and sing without concern for how it sounds or fear of others' disapproval. Archangel Uriel is with you, watching out for you and helping you connect to the nature and nature spirits. Sound healing is one of your best treatments for whatever physical or emotional ailments or modalities you're experiencing. The gateway to the world of non-ordinary reality is open, beckoning you to follow your true spiritual path and enhance your awareness of the non-physical realm. This is a particularly auspicious time to observe and heed any signs that are shown to you. Love it. Love it. Let's see where we are here. Take those broken wings and learn to fly. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. I think that yeah. Thank you so much for that help. That sounds like a breakup song by Mr. Mister. No, I think it's Sarah McLaughlin. I think that's who it is. Haley is more like Lana, but yes, they do use the portals. Where's that coming from? I'm just trying to look. Lana, I need a video of you talking to squirrels. Yeah, that'll be funny one, isn't it? I need to have like one of those what do you call those cameras that you wear on your head? Just to kind of follow me around. I just want to try to find out what's spring. Why? Okay, Spring Hall. This is why we have people trying to make spiritual uh communicators like Hope Paranormal. I don't know about Hope Paranormal or Steve Huff, who is also working on that. I don't know any of those names. Um, the original is the Beatles. Aaron, you're right. A GoPro. That's what it is. I need to get a GoPro. I do. But, because so many of my experiences are just so friggin' random, and even my own connections. A GoPro, that would be good. Listen to it today, people. It's a beautiful song. ITC communication. Okay. You guys, it's Easter weekend, right? So I will not be here Friday morning. Um I may try to do either a YouTube live. I just want to check my schedule. I may try to come on over the Easter weekend. It'll either be here or Facebook Live. I haven't decided yet. I don't even decide, Spirit decides. So watch my Facebook page if you follow it there. I will also post on the YouTube community page where I'm going to be if I'm able to pop on. Um I'm really going to be tapping into allowing some energy this weekend to be whatever it needs to be. I'm not scheduling anything over the weekend. I just truly need to allow. So I'm hoping that the weather is nice so that I can get myself outside. But I'm just simply going to allow. So if Spirit pulls me onto a live, I will be grateful. If Spirit doesn't pull me onto a live, I'll be grateful. That's kind of how I'm going to sit. However, you celebrate Easter, enjoy. Easter can mean different things for different people. So, however you're celebrating this weekend, enjoy that. Um, and what's this? No rush, Lana. Today's energy update was more than enough. I love that so much. It was more than enough. It's always more than enough. Happy Easter to you all. And as always, I am wishing you love, light, blessings, and have a spirit guided weekend. Take care.